The third person tool, we're continuing to think of that feedback loop. Pause, prepare, acknowledge, understand, have self-control, and engage. The third person tool is being an observer of yourself. So what I would like to invite you to do is create a situation and that you regret, or one that you would like to improve. Or maybe it's a character trait that you would like to steward and cultivate in a healthier way. So I'm gonna use two pens. This is you and this is you. So this is Sarah and this is Sarah. And Sarah is gonna talk to Sarah. It's third person. I'm talking to myself in the third person. How come? Because what happens is it helps de-escalate and not be so personal. It helps it feel not defensive, not shame, not guilty. There's no fear, there's no anger. It's just third person conversation, okay? You're gonna fill out the boxes. What are your top 5 core values? Remind yourself of your well-being elements and ask yourself on a scale of 5 or a scale of 10, how are you doing in each of those elements? Because what can happen is if I'm feeling lonely, my social well-being can take a hit. And if my social well-being takes a hit, my community can take a hit, and my holistic well-being can take a hit, and I'm more likely to get emotionally escalated or take things personally. So get to know yourself. So Sarah, how are you doing? Write down your core values and how well are you living out your core values, and rate yourself there as well on a scale of 1 to 5, on a scale of 1 to 10. How well have you been behaving in those core values? Okay. Now we're acknowledging there, we're being responsible. We're going to go to understand. Understand gives stability. And emotional intelligence, we're creating an emotional intelligence action plan, increasing our self-awareness, self-regulation, our social awareness, and relationship management. We're getting to know ourselves and how we can contribute and how we do contribute within our environment and within our relationships, which helps us strengthen our self-care and our well-being. Go to the next section, self-control and engage. I'd like you to ask yourself these questions, and this is what I'd like you to do. Insert your name into the first blank, and then where it has a second blank, insert the name of somebody else. So think of a situation where you had a conflict with somebody else. It could be work, it could be personal. Example, Sarah, what are your core values, and in what ways can you act within your core values right now? Sarah, what are your well-being intentions, and in what ways can they serve you and others well right now? Sarah, what is the communication style that you want to have? Sarah, what are, and I'll just use my husband, Greg, what are Greg's core values, and how come it's important for you to know them? Now, let's pretend that you don't know their core values. Just ask yourself, how come it's important to realize that they're just like you, and they also have core values that are important to them too, and that we don't want to control them? Sarah, what are Greg's well-being intentions, or think of their well-being? And in what ways do you appreciate them as a person, so that you can also remind yourself that how you act and what you say will impact their well-being? Sarah, how come managing your core values and well-being are important right now? Sarah, when you look back at the end of your life, acknowledge 2 ways you will be proud of yourself. Now, this next line is for people who have a faith, and I have a faith, so this is important to me. You can ask yourself this question, or you can leave it out. When you look back at the end of your life, acknowledge 2 ways that God will be proud of you. Sarah, what is it that you really want? Sarah, when you get what you really want, what will you have? And Sarah, what difference will it make to you, others, and the world? What we're also doing here on the 3rd person tool is we're going from the left brain to the right brain. I'm going slow in this situation, asking these questions, but I typically go pretty quickly through this. Because remember, it's 20 to 30 seconds to go from emotionally dysregulated, and that's the left side of your brain, emotional side of your brain, to the right side of your brain, where there's processing emotions logically, the mature part, the adult part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex. So by going through this process and asking yourself these questions, it helps you remind yourself of your purpose, your core values. You're not fixated on anybody else. You're taking better care of yourself so that a happier me is a happier we, and a healthier you is a healthier them too.